14 lakh people. That's how many LIC agents walk into a chai shop, a village panchayat office, or a middle-class living room in this country every single day. And they carry nothing but a premium chart and, 40 years of absolute unquestioned trust. But today, a Wall Street bank has put a very specific number on how much of that work AI can quietly take over. Stay with me till the end of this explainer because what happens next isn't just an LIC story, it's a direct preview of what's going to happen to every single trust-based profession in this country.
Okay, let's really dive into this. 1.4 million, 14 lakh individuals. This number represents the absolute backbone of the safest, most unreplaceable job story India tells itself. Right? It's a government-backed institution. Its entire model is built on human relationships across small towns, massive cities, you name it. I mean, these agents are the literal definition of a human-touch profession. But here is the massive shock value. Bank of America Global Research just published an estimate stating that over $15 billion in insurance commissions globally, that's over 15,000 crore rupees, is currently at risk. This is the value that could shift away from the traditional agent model as AI becomes deeply embedded in how insurance is sold and serviced. And listen, this isn't next year or someday. This is right now, on paper, being modeled by the very firms that manage the money behind India's insurance industry. So, the crucial question we have to ask is this. If an institution as deeply trusted and heavily reliant on human connection as LIC is facing a 15,000 crore disruption, well, what does that mean for the rest of us? What actually happens when AI successfully targets the most trust-proof job in the nation? Insurance might be the target today, but tomorrow, it's going to be whatever it is that you do.
So let's get into Section 1, the reality check. We need to separate the panic from the facts here. Let's just slow down the pace for a second and look at this properly. That 15,000 crore figure, it's not a scare quote from a random panic-inducing blog post. It's a grounded reality from a global investment bank telling its clients exactly where the money is moving.
Now, the contrast here is absolutely critical because almost nobody in the Indian AI commentary space is saying this honestly. The myth going around is that LIC is orchestrating mass layoffs today, but the undeniable reality? LIC actually added over 51,000 new agents last year. So if anyone is out there telling you this is a story about mass firings that have already happened, they are lying to you for views.
And that is exactly why this moment matters more, not less. The disruption we're talking about doesn't look like a sudden pink slip. It's a slow redirection of value. The money and the value are quietly shifting away from the person holding the physical policy folder and moving directly toward whoever owns the AI system that's quoting it, underwriting it, and settling the claim.
Which brings us to Section 2, 3 silent shifts. This is what is really happening on the ground. I want you to really absorb these next 3 points because they apply to you whether you sell insurance, sit in a bank branch, or work in literally any job built on being the trusted human in the middle of a transaction.
First, routine work is disappearing quietly. Basic tasks like policy quotes, premium calculations, claims status updates that used to be an agent's daily bread and butter, today AI chatbots and underwriting engines are absorbing this layer globally. Second, LIC itself is investing heavily in this technology. And third, India is adopting this at a blistering pace. Let's look a bit closer at that second point. Quote, LIC Mutual Fund has already launched a dedicated technology fund built around AI infrastructure. Just let that sink in for a second. The LIC ecosystem is actively putting money into data centers, digital platforms, and the very AI infrastructure that will reshape its own agent network. That's not hypocrisy. That is exactly what a smart institution does when it sees a massive wave coming. It hedges its bets. And regarding that third shift, this is the one that should really grab your attention. Independent research puts India among the global leaders in how fast companies are moving agentic AI systems. And by that, I mean AI that can actually take independent actions and complete workflows, moving out of pilot projects and into full production. I need to be crystal clear here. This isn't some distant 5-year-away trend for the Indian market. It is happening right this second. Moving to Section 3, the universal warning. No profession is exempt. Look, I'm creating this explainer today because you need to care about this, even if you've never sold a single insurance policy in your life. We need to zoom out from the LIC agent archetype and look at the broader middle-class professional landscape. Ask yourself this fundamental question. If a 15,000 crore shift can hit a government-backed, decades-old relationship job, what about your job? What about your bank's relationship manager, your chartered accountant's junior staff, your company's sales team. The uncomfortable truth is that the professions people call safe because they need a human touch are exactly the ones getting studied the hardest right now. Why? Because that's where the biggest efficiency gains are sitting untapped.
All right, Section 4, protecting your career today. Let's talk about moving from routine to judgment. I want to shift gears here and explain exactly how you can defend your livelihood in this environment. Because honestly, once you see the pattern of automation, you can't unsee it, but you absolutely can outmaneuver it.
The solution really comes down to a clear divide. On one side, we have what AI automates, the speed of quoting, premium calculations, basic form filling. If your entire value is doing a repeatable task faster than the next person, you're at risk. But on the other side, we have what humans keep, sitting with grieving families, complex business structuring, deep advice. You cannot be replaced if you move up into judgment and emotional complexity. Those are the things a chatbot simply cannot execute.
Ultimately, whatever your profession is, the question isn't, will AI touch my industry? The numbers say it already has. The real question is simply this. Which side of that 15,000 crore divide do you want to stand on? The side being automated, or the side operating the systems, doing the automating? Because operating these systems is a highly learnable skill. It's the new Excel. It's the new English typing.
Okay, before you close this explainer, let me talk to you for a minute. Not as a YouTuber, as someone who has actually sat in those rooms. Training rooms, boardrooms, inside some of the biggest companies operating in India, watching this exact fear play out on real people's faces.
And here's what I've noticed. Every single time, without fail, there are always two kinds of people watching a disruption like this happen. One kind gets scared and does nothing. They complain about AI at the tea stall, they forward worried WhatsApp messages to their colleagues, and they wait, hoping someone above them will explain it or handle it for them. 3 years later, they're the ones left behind, wondering what happened. The other kind does something much smaller than you'd think. They don't quit their job. They don't do a 2-year course. They just sit down one weekend and actually open the tool everyone's scared of and figure out what it does. In plain language, no jargon, no confusion.
I'll tell you honestly, I didn't come from an engineering background. I came from digital marketing. I don't have a computer science degree sitting behind me. What I had was the willingness to feel a little stupid for a weekend, ask basic questions, and not give up until it made sense. That's it. That's the whole secret nobody tells you. Today, because of that one decision, I sit across the table with leadership teams at some of the largest companies in this country, having exactly this conversation. Not as theory, but with their actual teams, their actual numbers, their actual fear.
So, here's what I'm asking from you genuinely. If you're in a role like the 14 lakh agents we talked about today, insurance banking, sales, anything where your value is being the trusted person in the room, please don't wait for your company to sit you down and explain this properly. Most of them won't, not clearly and not in time. Start on your own, this weekend, the way I did. And if you're the one responsible for a team, a branch, or whole department, that's a bigger conversation, and it's one I have every single week with people sitting in exactly that chair. I won't insult you by pretending there's a 3-step trick for that. There isn't. But it is absolutely learnable, and honestly, India's moving faster on this than most leadership teams have even accepted yet.
I don't do sales calls for this. Write to me instead. Tell me your industry, your role, and be honest about what's actually worrying you. I read every message myself, and I reply to the ones where I can tell someone's serious, not just curious.
14 lakh agents built trust over 70 years, and AI won't ask permission to change the model. The only question left is who adapts before the next report comes out. If this explainer made you look at your own job a little differently today, just type one word in the comments. Wake up. See you in the next one.